Hello, my name is Radia.
I'm Shingani.
عواف الأويفي.
We are Coventry University students, and this is our presentation for M35 courseware, which is about software development management.
In this presentation, we are going to illustrate how we manage this particular project.
Hope you enjoy.
Enjoy!
Enjoy. So now we'll start with our presentation. And this is our scenario. Coventry University decided to introduce an exclusive software for the students and staff that lets them communicate through protected chatting rooms. And we have been assigned to manage the development of that particular software. And since software development is a complicated process, it requires careful planning and execution to meet the goals. And we are here to ensure a successful development and delivery to the client. This presentation shows our project management planning and steps. And these are the outlines of our presentation. A project methodology determines the step-by-step instructions that guide team on how to build a successful project. So choosing a suitable methodology was the most important step. Agile software development methodology is best suited for our project. That is because Agile is highly iterative. So basically, it's an iterative model allowing for rapid adjustment throughout a project. In iterative model, less time is spent on documenting and more time is given for designing, which is an important thing for developing a software. It requires real-time communication within self-motivated team settings. So instead of building our project all together, the development is broken up into sprints with small deliverables. So Agile is our methodology and the techniques we used, UML and some other diagrams such as use case. So our methodology helps the team respond to unpredictability through incremental iterative work, which called sprints in Agile. It provides opportunities to assess the direction of our project throughout the development lifecycle. It tracks the defects at early stages and gets reliable user feedback. So overall, it is a continuous integration, verification, and validation of the evolving product. In Agile model, instead of sequential development of the entire project, the features are implemented from start to finish in the form of iterations, with a release to client at the end of each iteration. By involving the client in every step of the project, there is a high degree of collaboration between the client and the project team. Delivering working software early and frequently increases stakeholders' trust in the team's ability to deliver high quality working software. So we use UML because it provides a standard for software development, reducing of cost to develop diagram of UML using appropriate supporting tools. Development time is reduced in UML, has large visual elements to construct and easy to follow. So overall, the UML can be used to document the whole system. So this is how we represented our project's life cycle in Agile, by starting with planning phase, then moving to analyzing requirements, then design stage, followed by development and test, then finally implementation. However, in this stage we will get users and clients feedback, and if it's working we will deliver it successfully, and if it's not working or needs improvements, it goes for the next iteration. But before that, there should be identification of the changes necessary to make it work this time, plus prioritizing the tasks to save time. So this is the big picture of the life cycle with indication of each sprints. Under each sprint, there are iterations, and each phase is iterating as well. So after each successful sprint, there is delivery and finally closing the project.
Uh, Following scrums will help us to deliver the product to the customer efficiently and to help achieve better customer satisfaction. Also, Scrum help the team to stay focused and follow the agreed upon rules in many ways. One of them by Scrum, the daily meeting, which is held by Scrum Master. The Scrum Master will ask each team member three main questions. What did you do yesterday? What you will do today? And are there any impediments in your way?
So every spiral and iterative model consists of prototypes. The prototype stages in our projects are initial software prototype, next level prototype, and then we'll have the final release. After releasing the first prototype, it should be modified until satisfied. Meantime, there will be more ideas for improvement which will be modified as well for the final release. So why do we do the prototyping? Because it's an iterative process. Users are actively involved in the development.
quicker user feedback is available, leading to better solutions. Error can be detected much earlier. Missing functionality can be identified easily. Confusing or difficult functions can be identified as well, and misunderstandings between users and developers can be identified.
Objectives. Our application name is UniFriends Messages. We want to exchange text-based messages from sender to receiver, and we will provide connections between client and server third parts. The user will interact with the tool through GUI. The GUI operates in two forms, the list form and the chat form. The list form contains the names of all systems connected to a network. The chat form makes the accurate communication in the form of text. We make this application for students, so the application will provide a student-friendly user interface for customer, and we hope our application can be used easily.
So the only certainty about plans is that they will change. There are possibilities to have major alternations to the plan every 2 or 3 iterations. However, scope will be controlled. Each sprint will have 2 to 3 iterations. This iterative development is time boxed, so no date slippage is allowed, but use cases can be moved to a later iteration. Project team members will adhere to communications plan, hence all important stakeholders will come to every scrum. Suitable staff are identified and experts are recruited. Locations are available, however, staff can work from home in emergency situations. Management will ensure that project team members are available as needed to complete project tasks and objectives. Staff working hours will be between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with maximum 1 hour break. Dedicated staff will remain in their current roles and will cross train one another. The three most important project constraints are schedule, cost, and scope. Our constraints that 60% of the work must be completed within the first 30 days. Work should be done with the given resources and project scope will not be modified. We determine the limitations through consulting audiences, reviewing relevant written materials and existing projects, identifying the sources because confirming limitation from different sources increase accuracy. So this is how we control scope and manage it by ensuring that the project is inclusive of all the work required and only the work required for successful completion. So by defining and controlling what is and is not included in the project, and the most important thing is avoid the scope creep.
Okay, I'd like to talk about stakeholder. In our project, we need project management, project team, developers, quality management, risk management team, project tester, client, customer. They will affect our project, so we will make communication with them very well. We use some tools to manage our project. For example, we use Microsoft Project 22 to create Gantt chart and CPM chart. In the Gantt chart, it includes project monitoring, baseline data, resource allocation, cost management, and milestone management. And we use Microsoft Visual, Xmind, and Photoshop to create some diagrams and charts.
Now I'm going to talk about our communications management in this project. In this project, we ensure that stakeholders will be communicated with during the project life cycle. Also, we ensure that all stakeholders are equally informed of how, when, and why communication will happen. Our communication plan in this project has three types of meetings. Daily Scrum meetings, which is time boxed to about 15 minutes. Meeting after each sprint for feedback. Also, we have monthly project.
So changes can appear during the project lifecycle, such as plan change, schedule changes, technical specification changes, and training changes. We ensure that changes to a product or system are introduced in a controlled and coordinated manner. The steps of a change control plan: first, we generate change review, evaluate it, authorize it, and finally implement it. These are the implementation strategies of our project. Define project scope and change, risk and quality management plans, include culture and value assessment in the change management plan, break down the project into phases and subsystems, consider a phase-based approach for gradual implementation rather than radical approach, use appropriate planning styles for different tasks, detailed and iterative plans for evolving tasks, prepare plans for the requirement, selection and training of the necessary personnel for the project team. Prepare to handle expected or unexpected crises and deviations from plans. Provide a professionally simulating working environment. Use proactive communications to establish more realistic expectations about the software's capabilities. Use multifunctional project teams to bring complementary capabilities together during the life cycle, the total life of the project. Provide stakeholders with a detailed plan of the implementation process and explain how it achieves objectives and keep them informed about the system and progress of its implementation. Post-implementation strategies determine whether the objectives of this project have been met, determine whether the estimates and projected project information was accurate, determine whether or not the agreed practices and techniques were complied with, and any other factors which are considered appropriate.
This diagram is our mind map. We have 10 main phases: meeting, analysis, execution, design, development, implementation, testing, maintenance, documentation, closing. At the beginning of our project, we use mind map to collect and organize ideas and information. To clearly present the information of our projects, so we make a mind map firstly and then we transfer the information to Gantt chart. But in Gantt chart, the information is more detailed. We will introduce the information later in our Gantt chart.
Now I'm going to talk about our Gantt chart in this project. Our Gantt chart starts with the project initiation, which has three tasks, and end by delivered to the customer by the 25th of September. Then we have three sprints. Each sprint has the same tasks, starting with planning, requirement analysis, design, development, testing, user acceptance, implementation, and delivery. In sprint 1, we deliver the main and the first feature, which is the chatting application, and it delivered to the customer by the 30th of October. Then we have sprint 2, which has the same tasks, but it's about delivering the second feature, which is video and voice call. Uh, it's supposed to be done by the 27th of November. Then we have the third sprint, which is about developing the extra features, emailing and video sharing. As it can be seen here that we start each task uh, before the end of the task before for better time management. Also, we have the project closing. We have the questionnaires, user acceptance test, implementation, which will be parallel, integration training and monitoring update risk checklist, documentation, deployment, and the final delivered to the customer. Now I'll talk about our resources for this project. In this project, we have two types of resources, the work resources and material resources. In the work resources, we have the project manager, two developers, business analyst, technical architecture, coder, tester, quality assurance manager, risk manager, control manager, trainer. Also, we have software costs for software license, hardware costs, network costs. We allocate these resources to the project here. For each plan, even in the initiation of the project or inside each sprint, we allocate these tasks of plan for control manager, project manager, quality assurance manager, risk manager, and each design we allocated for the technical architecture, defining the project scope. We allocate this task for project manager and business analysis. Then in each sprints we have planning. We have in the requirement analysis for sprint 1 we have developer, and we have these materials, router, software license, and just in sprint 1. Then we have the development by coder, the testing by tester. We have user acceptance test by the client. Then we have the implementation by the developer, and so on in each sprint. In the closing, we have the questionnaire by the customer, user acceptance test by the client, implementation by technical architecture, training by trainer, and so on. This is our resource for this project. Now moving to the timeline. Our timeline starting at the 28th of August and the real time too. The project initiation finished by the 25th of September, but in the real time it finished in the 18th of September. According to that, the sprint 1 started in 21st of September instead of the 28th of the same in the same month. Then the sprint 2 starts in the 26th instead of the 26th of 6th of October instead of 2nd of September, and this is the today's date. Then moving to the resources table, as I explained before, this is our resource table. Moving to the cost management of our project, we manage and report the project's costs throughout the duration of the project. We also ensure the project is completed within the approved budget. And during the monthly project status meeting, performance will be measured using earn value. Moving to the budget table, we have the activity. For each activity, we have labor hours, labor costs, material costs, and total costs. Our activities is project initiation, chatting application sprint 1, voice and video calling sprint 2, emailing and photo sharing sprint 3, and final delivery. Then we have the total here. Then we have payment schedule for the client. In this schedule we have the deliver date, and cost. The first payment was at the beginning of the project in the 31st of August. Then we have each payment by the end of deliver each step. Project initiation by the end of sprint 1, by the end of sprint 2, by the end of sprint 3. Then the final delivery by the end of the project and the 15th of January.
This is our WBS diagram. We make this diagram because it can help us to check every task, and most projects have similar life cycles, so it will help us in the next similar project as well.
This is the name of our project which we decided in the initial planning phase. Then we broke the whole project into tasks and each task into subtasks which have been assigned to different team members. So the first layer represents the main phases of our project lifecycle. And here in the project initiation phase, there was the development of project plan, system architecture design, and project scope definition. Similarly, under planning phase, we had a sprint development inception, objectives and scope definition, and analyzing the constraints. In analyzing phase, elicit and specify requirements with documenting all project details happened. That was followed by design, development, and testing phases where all the main coding happens. Then after getting feedback, it will be implemented. In this phase, there will be plan, release, and capture bugs and release beta versions. Finally, they will be delivered to the client. So this is how all the tasks have been split for our project under each sprint.
This is our RACI chart. Why we use RACI chart in this project? Because we can identify roles and responsibility during an organizational change process. For example, when coders will finish coding, developer will inform testers, let them know they will test this application. This is our prerequisite chart. We use it to show that what staff should do before do something else.
So during our project lifecycle, we keep track on our project status. We follow the accomplishments by determining which parts are finished, if they were within the budget and time. Also, we look for the next actions and how to complete them successfully. To manage quality, there are quality planning, quality assurance, and quality control. We clearly define quality performance standards, how those quality and performance standards are measured and satisfied, how testing and quality assurance processes will ensure standards are satisfied, and overall continuous ongoing quality control. The quality criteria of our project: successful connectivity between client and server, response time between client and server should not be more than 10 seconds, system successfully passed the user login, restriction to unauthorized access of the user.
I want to talk about risks. We have four ways to respond to risks: avoidance, transference, mitigation, acceptance, and we use this model to manage risks in this project. How to manage risks? As for project risks, we need to identify, analyze, and respond to it. As this project, we have one risk manager to manage risks. He will identify project risks according to client requirements and then will make a risk checklist. So brainstorm and historical information. Risk checklists are very useful for managing risks. We have three general risks. We might face to emergency situation in city. It will need to delay project. We provide option to employees. They can work at home if it happens within deadline. It will impact delivery, but we have daily meeting. Delivery failed, it will lead to clients' dissatisfaction, but we communicate with clients at a weekly meeting. It will help us. Checklist and resolution. From client requirements, um, risk manager identifies three risks which we need to pay attention. First, coder lack skills if there is an innovation of technology. Second, programming language is unfamiliar. Third, we might face to hardware constraints when coder makes this application. Of course, risk manager have ways to deal with risks. For example, in first one and the second one, we can get technology support from other teams which have experience in this part, and trainer will provide team training to coder. We want to establish a budget for risk management from coding and testing. Risk manager will focus on four risks. Stuff disappear, output is wrong, database connect application, client cancels the project. Absolutely, risk manager has different way to respond to these risks. We can outsource this part or get staff from other team. Coders can get advice from technical supporter. If client cancels the project, we can get money as well because the contract will protect our risks. We will assign a risk manager to work with coders and testers, and they will track risks after project. User may lack skills to use this application, so the developer will make guidebook for users. Finally, risk manager will update risk identification checklists. It will help us next project.
Finally, project closing, where we are going to analyze feedback, outline the project accomplishments, contractual closeout with documentation, update risk checklist, lessons learned, recommendations for future projects, and celebrate for a successful project. These references were used for this presentation. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed.